Hello, my name's Ethan. Make sure to check out my website, ethanwrenn.com. From there, you can find links to all my various socials. We're currently live on Twitch, YouTube, and the front page of my website. Make sure to follow or subscribe if you'd like to get notified when we go live next. The first symbol that we're going to be jumping into today is SCHD. Now, what is SCHD? SCHD is the Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF. Now, well, what are some of the things we like about this ETF? Well, this ETF consists of a lot of US-based companies that offer relatively high dividends. And as such, this ETF also offers a relatively high dividend, with their current dividend yield being 3.74%. That is very much above average, especially when you're keeping in mind this is an ETF. It's not a singular company. It helps diversify the liability of owning a single company across a wide variety of different companies in different sectors. It's a very diverse ETF that you could essentially just hold this one ETF and have a very diverse portfolio that's very well balanced across sectors, again, only in the United States, and continue to receive that 3.74% dividend. Now, maybe on a more technical level, what are some of the things I like about SCHD? Well, something you see me talk about in all of my videos here on this channel would be the RSI. And as you can see, the RSI is low, relatively near that 30, which typically signals that this asset is oversold, or potentially it's a good time to be scaling into an asset such as this. Not only that, you can see this blue line here represents the weekly 180 moving average. If you come up here right next to the symbol, there is a W here, and that W stands for weekly. It's important to keep in mind your time frame so you can have a general idea of how long it might take for some of these patterns to play out. And as you can see, it's the weekly time frame. So as you can see, we have the entire price history here. Let's see if you guys can see that. Goes the entire price history, at least as available to TradingView, right? And throughout its entire price history, it has never broken below its weekly 180 moving average. It tends to act as a support every time it touches its weekly 180 moving average. It tends to bounce and continue to set higher and higher highs. So we are actively seeing a bounce off of the weekly 180 moving average with a simultaneously oversold signal from our RSI. Let's go through and look at some previous times where this symbol might have also reflected these current indicators, right? If we come here to March 2020, we see the RSI is oversold, bottomed out, and a lot of the market tended to be oversold at that period of time. What happened after that? It proceeded to run as much as 103%. A time prior to that would be January 2019. Came down, it touched the weekly 180 moving average. The RSI was oversold, proceeded to run as much as 30%. Time prior to that would be February 2016. Came down, touched that weekly 180 moving average. The RSI was oversold and proceeded to run as much as 52%. And then lastly, this was like very much on conception, but your weekly 180 moving average would be coming right through here. It was bottoming out. The RSI looks a little funny, but is what it is when it's a relatively new product. It needs to have an abundance of price history for some of these indicators, such as this blank line here or this RSI here, to really operate how it's supposed to operate. But as you can see, it was bottoming out and proceeded to run as much as 62%. So as you can see, this ETF tends to have double-digit runs quite often. It's a very safe option for people who are looking for something that's more steady, provides a great dividend, great exposure to a variety of different sectors of the US. I very much like this ETF. What are we currently projecting for this ETF? How far do we think it's going to go currently? Right now, we are currently expecting as much as a 40.3% gain, which would set the price point just under that $100 price point, closer to maybe $96.67 to be exact. So that's currently what we're expecting. If you give me 1 second, I'm going to pull up the holdings for this ETF so we could take a look at that together. So I've pulled up the top 10 holdings of SCHD according to Yahoo Finance. And as you can see, from top to bottom, we have PepsiCo, Coca-Cola, Merck & Co., Verizon Communications, Chevron, the Home Depot, Abevi, Amgen Inc., Broadcom Inc., United Parcel Services Inc. So these are some of the holdings you would expect to have exposure to when holding an ETF such as SCHD. And again, all these holdings are chosen because of their exceptional dividends that they provide investors. I can actually show you one more thing. So if you were to have been in our Discord, we've also shared this. This is the SCHD portfolio map. And as you can see, these are all of the companies that this particular ETF will provide you exposure to. So if you wanted to get a better idea of just not just the top 10 holdings, you have like Altria Group, for example, you have Home Depot, you have 3M. A lot of these companies we've covered on this channel. For example, if you were to come to my YouTube channel and search for these specific symbols, a lot of these we have covered before. So again, if you were to come to my YouTube channel and let's type, you come to the search bar at the top. Let's do like HD, for example. Here's like a video on Home Depot if you wanted to learn more about Home Depot. Let's do another example. Here's Altria Group if you want to know more about Altria Group. So we've done videos on a lot of the components of this ETF. BlackRock. I try to do this on purpose, right? Pretty much everything on my channel is there for a reason, right? It very much correlates in one way or another. We see value in an ETF such as SCHD. We're expecting there to be a bounce and a run in SCHD. So a lot of its underlyings could potentially move a lot, right? When an ETF moves a little, its underlyings can move a lot. And to add more merit and more weight to these positions, we try to look at some of these companies that have a lot of representation in ETFs on my channel. Again, such as Home Depot, such as BlackRock, Walt Disney, of just an example, right? We want to look at the underlyings of these ETFs because maybe they are also presenting great opportunities. Maybe they are also oversold and currently at a support and could potentially grow moving into the future. It's important to understand of the holdings that the ETFs that you're investing in have, because you have some sort of invested interest in the underlyings doing well as well. So I feel like I've covered this ETF quite clearly. Here's another example. 3M. We've done videos on 3M and they're pretty recent as well. So if you want to learn more about the underlyings of SCHD, I've covered so many of these symbols on my channel. Just feel free to go look them up. And a bullish projection for the ETF as well as bullish projections for the underlyings tends to all go hand in hand. It makes sense. If let's say you don't hold Home Depot directly, but you hold SCHD, you should still be interested in Home Depot doing well to boost the value of your ETF, right? Because you technically are holding that company, right? Even if you're not holding it directly. So I just want to try and make that clear. Other than that, let's go back to the chart.